refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Morning Dinner Podcast. It's your boy, Keem.
And Chuck, what up?
And we host the Morning Dinner Podcast, which is a podcast based out of Las Vegas where we sit down and have conversations with entrepreneurs, creators, and hustlers. And today's special episode, we got Tony Lee in the house.
What's good?
What's good, Tony?
How we doing, guys?
Full-time Tony.
Real quick, can you just let the people jump into it? Let the people know who you are and what you do.
My name's Full-time Tony, Anthony Lee. I'm a marketing consultant, creative consultant in the cannabis industry. I own a couple companies. I'm an entrepreneur. All around entrepreneur essentially, but more heavy in the marketing.
Nice. That cannabis industry.
And the cannabis industry.
Cannabis, is that what I said?
He said cannabis. Yeah. Cannabis.
What was it that made you go geared towards the cannabis industry?
This is kind of a long story, but so I started this company called Reno as Fuck, and Reno as Fuck at the time got very popular. It was like probably my second year of it, and it was really popular in Reno. And a friend of mine named Cole Marcus, who was my fraternity brother and a close friend of mine who had been in the cannabis industry in different states, had reached out to me about starting a cannabis convention. And this is the April of my senior year of college. So he hits me up and says, hey man, I know you like cannabis. I know you'd be interested in doing this. Would you be down to help me build this thing called the Reno Cannabis Convention? And I was like 120%, put me on the team. And that's kind of how it started. And so it was a big whirlwind of learning. And so starting something from scratch is honestly the best way to do anything. I mean, as you guys know, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you just get to fail a ton. You just take tons of L's so that you can make bigger W's at the end. So,
Exactly.
So that's kind of how I got into it. And then the cannabis convention went really, really well. And so from there, a lot of people were like, how did you do this? How did you, build the marketing? How'd you get the the news coverage?
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a lot of marketing consulting opportunities from that.
And you do creative marketing, right?
Yeah, so I do like design, I do help with social media, but I kind of like to do like brand strategy essentially, like brand perception. And I like to focus too on like sales driven marketing too. Like it's really tough in marketing to really figure out true ROI. Like, oh, you got 100 new Facebook likes, but that doesn't always translate into sales numbers.
Yeah.
So I like to figure out ways that you can do creative marketing and it turns into sales numbers.
That's dope.
Yeah. So
Super sick.
Yeah.
What have you found to be the most effective technique in the world of 2019, where everything's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube? What have you found like the most, the thing that works the most, like for people when they're scrolling on their phones?
I think the biggest thing is honestly just being educational, like just telling people like what the facts, right?
Yeah.
So a perfect example is Harmonia CBD. So right after the cannabis convention, I know you guys have had on the phone Brandon.
Yeah.
And
shout out Brandon.
Yeah, shout out to Brandon. And he reached out to me and said, hey man, I would love your help. Let's figure out some stuff. And so with him, it was really huge on him doing educational posts and videos and doing educational classes. And that's, that right there alone has been a huge thing in cannabis and anything, right? It's just education because people want to learn and they're looking to, technology, social media to learn things. A lot of people, use Facebook as like a news outlet, right? Mm-hmm. And which is crazy to me. Like, how the hell are you going to use Facebook as a news outlet? A lot of this stuff is fake, but that's what people do. They go on there to learn stuff.
Right.
Damn, that's trippy.
Yeah.
And going back, I just want to, how'd you get the name Reno as Fuck?
So
why? Ooh.
Gotta sip that water real quick.
So the story has it. So me and another guy named Tyson Schroeder, who we met. So when I first came, I'm born and raised in Vegas. I moved to Reno when I was 18 to go to college, and I got my first job at this brand new company called Big Frog. I was the first employee. Me and him were the first two employees, and he became the manager, and then I was like the first employee. And so me and him clicked right off the bat, and so we have always talked about starting a business. And then one day after a long day of bullshit, he's like, bro, just come over to my house. Let's hang out and just talk, drink beers, whatever. So we're in his backyard. And I know you guys aren't from Reno, but there's a street in Reno called College, and it's right by the university. And it's this long, windy road. And it's January, and it's about 5 o'clock. So the sun's just about setting, but it's still light outside. And it had snowed a couple days before. So there's like snow on the side of the streets, and it's cold. And so we're sitting in this backyard just drinking a beer, bullshitting. And then in the distance, we heard like this rumbling noise on the asphalt. And we look up, and in the distance, we see like, it looks like a girl, and she's shredding hard on this longboard. And as she gets closer, we see her, and she's wearing a tank top, short shorts, tattooed head to toe, cigarette in mouth, gauges, sunglasses, Beats in a backpack, just ripping down this hill. And as she passes us, he turns to me and says, "That's Reno as fuck." And then that's how the company started.
Oh,
so
damn,
good.
that's kind of tight.
Yeah. And so
That sounds like a commercial right there.
yeah. And so that's kind of how it started. And then it took probably like 3 to 4 months of us like doing the back end stuff, like the website, building the logo, kind of getting everything operational before we got it started. And yeah, and that's kind of, that's the origin of the story.
And going a little forward with Reno as fuck, what do you guys do for the community and do for just in general?
Yeah, so Reno as fuck, it started off as a sticker company, and that's how we like. So the idea behind it. So at the time I was 18 when I started the company, and a lot of people around me were getting internships, and I just thought it was super whack to go work for someone for free. And I was like, bro, if I'm gonna work for anyone for free, it's gonna be me.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna work for anybody else for free.
Entrepreneur right there.
Yeah, and so it was that idea, and then the other idea too was we wanted to figure out a way that we can exemplify how good we were at marketing by not being able to pay for advertising. So the word "fuck" disables us not to buy any Facebook advertisement, Instagram advertisement, Google AdWords, billboard, print, anything, because it's impossible because no one will put "fuck" on anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the idea was to do a huge guerrilla marketing campaign with these stickers. And so at first it was kind of not a gag. I shouldn't say it was a gag, but it wasn't as serious as it is today. And then as we started putting it out more, we realized how important it was to the community, and how Reno as fuck, was a true identity of Reno.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that led into, just doing like t-shirts and hats and more websites and events and concerts. And then eventually led into us doing a collaboration deal with a brewery called Revision Brewery, which now we have a beer as well.
Yeah,
Ooh, nice.
It's called Reno as fuck.
Yeah.
It's so tight.
Damn,
I was
I
like,
wish I
damn,
drank.
when I seen it, I was like,
I know.
wow.
I wish I flew here, but if I didn't fly here, I would have brought you guys some beers.
Yeah, I would have tried.
It's a New England double hazy IPA.
I have tried Revision when I went out there.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, they're
really good.
super good brewery.
Wait, so because I've never been in Reno before. Like I've been in Vegas. I've never been north of Vegas, bro. To be honest, I think I went to Ely one time. Ely or Eli?
Is it Ely?
Ely.
It's Ely. Okay, it's not
Yeah.
Eli. Okay, so I went out there one time, but that's as far as I went.
Ely's pretty north.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
dude, it was crazy. I was like 18 years old. The only reason we went is because we went to go visit that brothel. So it was me, my best friend, and then two other homies. Right? We drove them out Toyota Corolla. Bro, it's a crazy story behind it, man.
But you gotta let them know you didn't use the brothel.
No. We didn't use no.
Just go check it out.
We just wanted to check it out, bro. So we left at like 10 o'clock at night. We're driving in this low Corolla, bro. Where gas tank is full. Halfway there, bro, the gas starts running out. No, I won't say halfway, but 3/4 of the way there. So we're driving. So and then we started panicking because like dude, we're in the middle of nowhere. It's snowing everywhere. There's no stop. It's just straight up like desert.
Yeah.
On either side. We all have different cell phone carriers. So I think I had Sprint. My best friend had AT&T. The other guy had Verizon. The other guy had T-Mobile. Right? None of our phones had service,
Damn.
And we stopped at this little it's like not a barn house, but like a bar. It was a little like old school bar, right? Like a stable bar with the doors that swish wide open, like from the old school movies.
Yeah.
A saloon, yeah. And we're like, yo guys, like we're running out of gas. And we're like, it was literally like that much left of gas, bro. And they were like, no, we're close. Come back in the morning. And they're just, I don't know what they were on, but aside from the point, we started driving back on the freeway, and the little light turns on the car. They're like, we're fucking out of gas, and so we all started panicking because none of us have signal. We're running out of gas, and it's like 10 degrees outside or 5 degrees outside because it's snowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then we all started panicking, we start calling 911, like what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen, bro? And then we finally, after we're driving for like an hour. On that E,
Really?
on the emergency, for an hour
shit.
on the Toyota Corolla. Shout out to Toyota for making that happen.
Toyota's crazy.
But so we finally get service, and one of us calls the police. Like, oh, okay, you guys are a couple miles out. We'll come get you. No problem. We finally we keep driving, and we hit a gas station, and then we're like, oh yes, we're saved, right? There's a police car right there. Like, oh, we just got the call. We're gonna go out and save you guys.
Damn.
And then crazy story. So it was like 2 a.m. already, bro. 2 a.m. We're like, oh yeah, we don't need to save anymore. We're good. We get to Ely, it's closed. Yeah, the brothel was
I
closed.
thought it's not 24 hours.
Fuck. I guess not Ely.
Yeah, I guess
the
not.
Bunny Ranch.
Bunny Ranch all day.
Yeah, But we just wanted to check it out. I was like 18 years old. We're going to Radio Shack for $9 an hour. It's like, let's have an experience, man. Let's have one of those stories we tell later.
Yeah, tell your kids.
So the reason I tell you that story, I don't know why I did, but
because you've never been north of.
I've never been north. I've never been that far up.
Yeah.
What's it like out there in Reno? Is it like a big city like Vegas? Is it like not as big? Like
no. Well, the best way to put it is that there's no like strip essentially, right? Like it's like, think of downtown Vegas, and think of if downtown Vegas never got the strip. Ooh. That's what it, without Fremont. There's no there's no Fremont.
Right.
And then we have a Midtown, which is like, it's Midtown and downtown are like obviously like right next to each other. So Midtown is like, you know that street? What street is that? Fremont.
Yeah.
Free like
the one with the cowboy.
All the bars.
Yeah.
All the bars on it. That's essentially Midtown, and then the casinos in that area would be like downtown Reno.
How many casinos are out there? Is it like a lot of casinos?
Probably like 10.
Okay.
Not too many. I mean, the population is probably like 500,000 in the Reno, Tahoe, Sparks area, so it's not huge. But it's not small either compared to Vegas.
I think tech is coming into Reno. So
tons of tech. I mean, you have Amazon, Google, Tesla. Ooh. I mean, yeah, and Reno's one of the fastest growing cities in the world right now.
Really?
Yeah, and that's just because of how cheap it is comparative to Northern California. I mean, we're only 4 hours from San Francisco.
Wait, how cheap is it compared to Vegas?
Oh, it's actually more expensive.
Way more expensive right now, actually, and that's because of Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Because people from Silicon Valley are just moving in like nuts, and then everywhere in between is just getting bought
Silicon
up.
Valley is in San Francisco?
Yeah, and so we're about 4 hours from San Francisco. It's more like Palo Alto, Silicon Valley, but yeah, San Francisco area, Bay Area.
That's crazy, man.
And so, Sacramento's only 2 hours away. So, if you've ever been to Sacramento, it's kind of like a smaller version of Sacramento. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Nice. So Reno as Fuck is your creative marketing agency in the cannabis industry?
No,
or is it just
Reno Fuck is just it's more of it's a movement. It's the best way I can describe it. So the idea is behind it. It's the work hard, play hard mentality. And since you haven't been to Reno, it's kind of hard to explain to you. But if you came to Reno for a weekend, I could show you what Reno as Fuck truly is.
We'll have to make it happen.
Yeah, we'll have to make it happen sometime.
It's so dope.
Because I know Chuck used to go out there like twice a month.
Yeah, he used to go out there.
It's crazy because you would always tell me like, hey man, if you ever want to go, just let me know.
Yeah.
But it never worked out.
Yeah.
We can make it happen. I have a spare bedroom, so we can make it make it happen.
It's beautiful up there, and even going to Tahoe was great.
Oh yeah.
Wait, how far is Reno from Tahoe?
45 minutes. Yeah. 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, super close. And then you're right by the capital too. And the difference is like, there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do there. The biggest issue for me is that there's not as much city life there. But I love Reno. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Reno's great.
But what would city life mean? Like just more like 24-hour things?
No. 24-hour things are there. It's just more like there's no Urban Outfitters, for example. I know that's such a stupid thing, but of that nature, like it's slowly developing, right? Like my favorite restaurant, and I go there every single time, is Skinny Fats. I fucking love Skinny Fats.
Oh yeah, we have hella skinny. I think we have like 6 Skinny Fats.
Well,
out here, right?
I think the headquarters is based out of Vegas.
Are they all around the country?
No,
or are they just in
Vegas.
Nevada?
Just in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they started in Vegas. They might have some in California just because it's LA, but I would love to have a Skinny Fats in Reno, right? Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. We just got a Chick-fil-A not too long ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
I think we just got one. Hey, my bad real quick. There's like a fly.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
Like bothering me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to,
I see it.
You see it?
Can you
Where's it at?
He's trying to pull
I'm trying my hardest.
Karate master right now. Wax on, wax
all
on.
Right. I don't think you can see it in the camera, but
nah, bro, you definitely won't be able to see it. I don't think.
It's all good.
You won't, or you will.
If you're listening to the audio only version of the podcast, you have nothing to worry about.
There's a gnat just flying around bothering
bro,
me.
it's not even that big. It's like
okay.
It's like a micro gnat.
My fucking eyes kept going to it, and I'm like, God damn it.
Oh! I think you got it. Did you get it?
I think I did.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you did.
Wait, so we're back on track real quick. So Reno as Fuck is not the name of the creative marketing agency.
No, and I don't.
It's not.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay.
And so I just work as an independent consultant when it comes to that. So yeah, no, Reno as Fuck is like a brand movement. The idea behind it is that Reno is a one of a kind place with one of a kind people with one of a kind businesses, and we want to show that off. And it's like work hard, play hard, but there's that blue collar grit to it, right? Like it's not the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas, but it still has casinos, just not the glitz and glamour casinos.
So is it mostly like all like you said guerrilla marketing, because you can't really put money behind it on?
Yeah, so I probably have given out now probably like close to 100,000 Reno as fuck stickers.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I started at my end of my freshman year of college, and I've just been giving them out like crazy. And yeah, so
it's gonna be out of focus.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's okay.
It's fine. People can kind of make
People
it.
Can see your face.
Yeah,
so they can see real quick.
People can see
go.
it. Yeah, so Reno as fuck. So yeah, and I started when I was in college, which was a huge point of the main reason why I blew up, because I had so many kids around me to give them out to. Right now, I mean, I've been graduated for almost 2 years now, and close to 3, and there's still kids that have on their water bottles and their laptops, and people buy them off the website all the time. So yeah, so it's cool. It's as
soon as I get my hydro flask, I'm putting it on there.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait, so what direction do you want to move in with?
So kind of like the beer, right? Like I would love to start doing more collaboration licensing deals. The Reno as fuck weed strain has been something that I have been.
There's a weed strain for it.
It's soon to come. I've talked with so many different companies, and it's just a matter of getting it approved by the state. And finding, and the thing is with Revision is that they approached us to do the Reno as fuck beer, and so they just understood the brand and they understood what Reno as fuck was. Yeah. So it made it really easy to do it with them. Some of these companies don't really get it. They're looking at dollar signs instead of like the brand, the movement. And if they understand the movement, then that's how it turns into dollar signs.
Yeah, it's gonna create more
more buzz.
Like buzz.
So we actually had a conversation before the podcast started.
Yeah,
we're talking about The Office and how we're addicted to it and how we look.
Yes.
So there's a quote from Ryan, the temp.
Okay.
He said one time. He said, when you go into business, you actually don't think about the money. You think about the user experience. How true is that?
I would say that's like 25% true. I mean, I don't know. Owning a business, money is 90% of it, right? Like you have to be sustainable. You gotta be able to pay for product. You gotta be able to pay for fucking stickers. Right. So money is a big part of it, but investing in your company is the most important, right? Yeah. Taking the money that you make from the product
and putting it back
into the user experience is important.
Yeah.
Ryan from The Office is great. I think he had some great ideas. He just didn't know how to execute them.
I was talking to my best friend about him because he's one of those characters, man, that I feel like had the most character development throughout the entire show.
Yes.
He started as a temp, became like one of the head honcho VPs, and then like had like a drug addiction problem, and then like moved back to being part of. This is crazy, man. He's all over the place.
Made the website. The website, that was his best idea.
Went to jail for it. Got hired back at the company. Yeah. Because he was double recording sales, bro.
Yeah, because he would record sales for people that sold it, and then on the website he would do it.
So just to run Chuck up to speed. Yeah.
So you don't watch The Office.
He doesn't watch The Office. Dunder Mifflin is the name of the company, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Dunder Mifflin is the name of the company that they all work at. So Ryan became like a marketing guy for the company, and he's like, oh, we're gonna build a website for our business, right? For our paper selling business. So what happened is everybody's old school. Everybody would record the sales on paper, right? And they would keep it in the records. He built a website. He's like, log it in the paper, but also log it in the website. So he was logging sales twice, which was he's like known as like confusing stock or shareholders, and is basically committing fraud.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's a great show.
A great show.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it.
It's one of the best ever. You have to get into it.
It's just like, I haven't had time to do.
It's okay.
Because like I think it's one of those shows like you kind of just sit there and watch, and since you guys know it, you guys can just watch it constantly. But I really want to like
you gotta go watch it. Yeah, you really have to binge watch that for the first time. You have to really be into it so you can learn all the details, and then you can go back through and just kind of watch it.
It scares me because like I told them, like I watch a lot of anime, and when I get stuck on an anime that I never watched before, because I know they're not going to be like seasons long sometimes. They're only like 12 episodes, 24 episodes. So I'll watch them and then I'll be like, I'm only going to watch like 1 or 2. And then it ends up being like 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, fuck.
That's what happens.
That's why I'm scared of The Office, because it's like, this shit has seasons. Yeah. You know what I mean? The same with Game of Thrones.
I think it's 12. I think it's 12 seasons, right? No,
I want to say, I don't, be honest, I just watch, bro. Sometimes I'll like, if I'm watching it like on Netflix, I'm on season like 5 or 6. But if I watch it on TV, I'm like season 9.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's 9 seasons.
9, yeah.
I want to say 9 seasons, yeah.
There might be 12 in Parks and Rec. That's why I might be mixing it up.
Yeah, probably.
Damn, that's crazy.
Parks and Rec.
Too many episodes. All right, so going back, Reno as fuck. You're a marketing consultant, and you also do something called Budtender Fight Club.
Yeah,
correct?
so Budtender Fight Club. So that was started here in Las Vegas by a guy named Jason Sturtzman. Jason Sturtzman is a cannabis consultant, advocate. He was huge on Vote Yes on 2. He's written a ton of cannabis licenses. He's instrumental to the cannabis industry in Nevada. He started this event called Budtender Fight Club, and the idea behind it is that it's a networking, educational, hiring event. And the idea is to bring people that are from cannabis brands to come teach classes about what they do. And then the idea is that the people that come are either people in the industry so they can upgrade their skills, or the people that are looking to get in the industry so they can learn something before they go get that interview or turn in that resume, so they have some type of background to talk about. And so I reached out to Jason right after the Reno Cannabis Convention had ended, and I had he came up to Reno. We went and looked at some spaces, and we got it started. So that started in June of 2018, and we've been doing it every month ever since. And so we probably got 20 people hired so far in the cannabis industry from the event. And so it's just like a really good community event. I don't make a lot of money off of it, but it's something that I like doing. I like seeing people get jobs in the industry. I like people being in the community that I am, and I want to grow that community, especially in Northern Nevada, because it isn't as big as it is out here.
Yeah. Wait, so is it primarily in the cannabis industry?
It's only cannabis, so it's like
okay.
so like
that makes sense why it's called Budtender.
Yeah. So that the main goal is to get people entry level jobs as budtenders or packers or trimmers or something of that nature, so then they can work their way up in the industry.
Because there's nothing that trains people already.
Yeah, there's really no you can't go to college to be a budtender. You can't go on. I mean, you can go online and find educational classes, but there's really no in-person classes so that you can go and learn.
Oh wow.
And so, so it's a super awesome community event. I have lots of support from lots of different brands up in Northern Nevada that, come participate. So yeah, the next one's gonna be March 24th. If anyone wants to come check it out.
Wait, so what about all the cannabis businesses that exist in Las Vegas, like MedMen, right?
Yes.
Do they train their people on all that stuff, or do you have to be pre-trained to do things like that?
It just depends on the company, right? So MedMen's a really big cannabis operation. I'm guessing they have some type of small training at the beginning, but there's people that have come to Budtender Fight Club who's gotten a job at MedMen before.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so it just depends. I've had MedMen talk at the cannabis event, so yeah, they're supportive as well. But yeah, so it just depends on what company you're working with and what kind of training you get. A lot of people obviously want people that can hit the ground running. They don't want to have to waste time with training, because time is money in the cannabis industry right now.
Yeah.
Just because of all the companies that are moving in, and Canada's dumping a ton of money into the American market. So yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of the actual knowledge though about cannabis and all that is kind of lacking a little bit? Because I've had some budtenders just not get what I'm trying to say sometimes, and that shit angers me, because I'm like, isn't this your job?
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's a big huge issue, is like misinformation in the cannabis industry. So you might read online one thing, and in actuality it's the complete opposite, and that's another huge problem within the cannabis industry, and that's why Budtender Fight Club is so important. Yeah, is that there are uneducated budtenders who give people the wrong product. And that's an issue. And so that's why Budtender Fight Club is there, so that they can understand that there's more than just selling weed. Yeah. That these are patients. Now, these are this medicine.
How do you mean but there's budtenders that give the wrong product? How do you mean?
So let's just say, for example, my grandfather, right? So he started using cannabis about a year ago. When I started heavy into it, I started with just CBD, and now he uses a vape at night to help him sleep. Yeah. If you were a budtender that didn't know what you were doing, you would have gave him an edible. And edibles can be great, but edibles are also a slippery slope, because if you take too much, you can get really fucked up.
Yeah, you can go deep.
And
I've heard people throw up.
Yeah, you can throw up. And I think about my 76-year-old grandfather taking 100 milligrams of cannabis when he's never smoked weed before, right? He's gonna be miserable, to the point where he might have to go to the hospital. Yeah. So that's what makes me nervous, is it isn't really the kids like you, like us three, right? If we take 100 milligrams, we throw up, no big deal. We throw up on every other Saturday, so who gives a shit? But for someone that's older, that's never used cannabis before, that can be a scary experience. Right. And that turns people go off to cannabis, right? And that's not what I need. That's not what that's not what the community needs. So yeah.
Have you ever heard of Joey? You ever heard of Joey Diaz?
Yes,
bro. He's got some crazy edible stories.
Yes, Joey.
Talking about taking 500 milligrams, bro.
Cocoa. Wait, what's his Mad Cocoa Flavors? Is his Instagram name?
I think so. I know it's Joey Coco Diaz.
Oh, Joey Coco Diaz. Yeah, dude, I love him.
I just love listening to his voice, man.
Yeah, he has those stories that you can listen to all day long.
He's like that uncle, bro. That uncle.
Yes.
Sit your ass down. Yeah. Sit your ass down.
Exactly.
You know, he's got that mobster voice too.
Yeah. He's Puerto Rican from New York. I love it.
And it's crazy because like he can take the emotions all around. Like he's funny, he can be serious, and then he gets sad. And he doesn't really cry all the time.
He can make you angry too.
Shit. Like damn.
I used to watch The Sopranos a lot of times, so I knew who he was. But then once I started listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, he's a frequent on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh yeah.
So listening to him is hilarious.
Yeah, Chuck has sent me this video of a stand-up routine he did one time, and it was televised, but he did it basically talking about his mom's friend. And how when his mom passed away, his mom's friend took care of her and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And it was very funny, but very serious and emotional too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like he does a really good job making you feel like, damn, like this is I went through a whole round of emotions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you also take a lot of the stuff he says and you use it in your life. It's like a philosophy. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, he said some real shit just now, and I'm like, gotta follow that.
Dropping some real knowledge. Yeah, no, I love I follow him on Twitter too, and he'd be like, today's Tuesday, get ready to suck today's dick.
Yeah, I can hear him say it in my head too.
Getting a little bit back on topic here, man.
Sorry.
So you know a lot for somebody your age. How did you begin to train yourself, or kind of educate yourself on the industry, and what steps did you take to get to where you are right now as far as that goes?
So I'm 23 years old. I think the biggest thing, honestly, that set me ahead with my parents. Right, my parents are just two hustlers. Like they, my dad is just he was a forklift operator at Budtender. My mom's a paralegal, so they're not. I'm not gonna say I was poor or anything, but I was very middle class, and somehow they figured out a way to put me and my sister through private school my whole life, which really taught me what true success and hard work looks like in asset and money form. So I went to a school called Bishop Gorman, which you guys know. Yep. And so that's a very wealthy school, and I was nowhere near to the amount of wealth that some of these kids had. So seeing that and then going to college at Reno was like a shelter shock.
Yeah.
So it made me realize oh shit, that's not how everybody lives. People live a lot of people live normal, or most people live underclass. They live poor. Mm-hmm. So learning that was a hustle. So I just know that there's a good end goal. And then as far as cannabis knowledge goes, I have to give a lot of thanks to my guy Cole Marcus, right? He, when he started the cannabis convention, I kind of came in just a little bit cocky. Because at the time I was in Reno as fuck. I was managing the t-shirt store that me and Tyson had met at. Mm-hmm. So I had been doing business transactions for a while. So I kind of understood it. But he was like, nah, man, this cannabis stuff is completely different. This cannabis industry is completely different. So you need to learn. You need to go home. You need to sit down and just start taking notes. You need to learn as much as possible. Learn the lingo. So that was cool. So I got to, I got to have hour-long phone calls with him every day to talk about things, talk about hey man, this is the people I called today, this is what happened, tell me what I can improve on. So I got to give a lot of props to him on really getting my foot in the door. And then after that, it was just more of a passion. I like to learn, right? I want to know more about cannabis. I want to be the most knowledgeable person in the room when it comes to cannabis or cannabis marketing or cannabis business. I want people to know that I'm the cannabis guy, especially in Northern Nevada. I want to be the cannabis guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and if to say that is one thing, but to be that is another thing.
Yeah.
So I'll say this, just go to this real quick, so you can let's see your education.
Okay.
Well, what are terpenes inside? Would it be cannabis, or what are the different terpenes and what do they do for you?
There's a bunch of different terpenes, mm-hmm. and they do a bunch of things. I could dive into some of them, but
let's do the main ones.
So I'll just give you terpinolene is probably one of my favorite ones. So and that's more. So you'll see those more in a sativa dominant.
And explain sativa and indica and the hybrids.
So let me just actually dive into this. So sativa, hybrid, and indica are just marketing terms.
Got it.
So these are just terms that because people like categories.
Like Democrat and Republican.
Yeah, they don't want too much.
Like vodka, gin, whiskey, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They want categories. So they say, oh, indica means I'm gonna get tired, sleepy. Hybrid is, like people are like, oh, that's a mix. So it might make you sleepy, it might make you tired. And C was supposed to be more of a buzz, but that's not how it all goes. Terpenes affect people differently. And so the biggest thing, it's not really about terpenes or about THC percentage. It's about this thing called the entourage effect. And so essentially the entourage effect, or the synergistic effect, I've heard it called the ensemble effect, is essentially a mixture between the cannabinoids, which is like THC, CBD, CBN.
Now CBN is the CBD nighttime, right?
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
CBD night. CBD night.
That's what I need, bro, because I have a hard time.
And that's another thing, right? It's like like the other biggest issue is that there truly hasn't been any real studies.
There's no education on this yet.
So it's like it's all speculation.
Yeah.
It's
because it just became really legal.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
So there's some information on it and there's some studies on it, but like when it comes to the endocannabinoid system and how that all works is completely, we don't truly know it, and we don't even know the long-term effects of cannabis, right? We've never done any 30-year studies on it, so we have no clue what's going to happen in the next 30 years. So when it comes to cannabis, cannabis, like when you go to a store and buy something, it's, you got to test it all out. You got to see what you like and what you don't like.
I was going to say that's most of drugs anywhere, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that were marketed in the 90s. They're like, oh, this will cure this. This will help you with this. But it's got 3,000 side effects that nobody even knew about.
Exactly.
So it's like you can't really say that it's just the cannabis and it's just everything, everything medical. I mean, I'm sure like Tylenol has a lot of long-term effects that you don't want. You know what I mean?
And I'm going to come back to that because we're going to talk about Adderall in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, so going back to cannabis, it's not essentially the terpenes, right? It's more of the effect of all of it together. So figuring out so one of my favorite strains of all time is green crack. And green crack is, is supposedly a sativa dominant, right? But, to some person that might put them to bed. You never know.
Yeah.
Right? So it just depends.
Does that also matter on like how it's grown too as well? Because they can be like, oh, we had green crack seeds or something.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing, right? It's like, how the hell am I supposed to know this seed came from a green crack plant?
Yeah, like anybody can say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to, put those labels on it.
Yeah.
And so that's.
So is it kind of like the way like alcohol, like if you put it in the terms of alcohol, because the thing is like I'm trying to understand the entire cannabis industry and there's a lot to it. I mean, you even said the different types of terpenes affect people differently. Yeah. Is that kind of how like an alcohol would affect somebody differently? Like maybe a whiskey would make you more violent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like for me, like I don't drink tequila because I get mad when I drink tequila. So I just stay away from it because I've got drunk off it twice. The first time I got mad, nothing happened. Second time I got mad, I punched a hole in the wall. I was like, all right, tequila's not for me. Yeah. And so that's how I stick to vodka and gin. Yeah. Okay. So it's like, right, like, oh, this this strain of weed puts you right to bed. Don't smoke it during the day. Right. That
makes sense.
And it's not even that. It's like a range of terpenes don't, that makes you sleepy. These terpenes make you hungry. Right. These terpenes make you energetic, euphoric. Right. So
you have to find out what works.
Yeah, you got to find out what works for you. So that's why, and that's why, I can, terpinolene, caryophyllene, limonene, right? I can give you ideas of what the effects is, but they might be completely different for you.
Because there's thousands, right? Thousands.
And we don't even know.
Or that can just be assumption too.
We don't even know how many terpenes there are.
Really? So it's that new of an industry?
Yeah. It's supposed to be like 116 cannabinoids. Whoa. But there can be more. Right. And the other thing is like we only cultivate for CBD and THC. We don't really cultivate for CBN. Right. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're not advanced enough yet to be cultivating like high CBN plants.
So is it possible that there are some terpenes that could make somebody allergic and give somebody like a rash or something like that?
The other thing is too is I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast not too long ago and they were doing a pot debate, and I've never really thought about cannabis in any negative aspect because it's been so awesome for me. Right. But for a lot of people, it could be a bad thing, right? Like, for example, people in their 20s, if you're going to get schizophrenia and it hasn't come on yet, it usually happens in your 20s to people. And it usually happens to males. But cannabis or any drug, but cannabis specifically, because a lot of people use cannabis and it's a more commonly used drug, will kickstart it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So like if you're 21, 20 years old and you're a fine person, you go smoke weed for the first time, and then out of nowhere you get schizophrenia. Like where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
And it's not
Well,
to say,
isn't that basically paranoia? Schizophrenia. Like, schizophrenia is when you start hearing and seeing
The
things,
voices.
right?
Yeah.
So it could be a mild paranoia, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but there's lots of cases that show that people, triggers like, and then not just cannabis too, like acid or Molly or cocaine. I think drinking is more of a depressant, so I don't know if that would kickstart it. But maybe though. I'm not a scientist. I'm a marketer, but
right.
Just ask.
Well, yeah, so I'm gonna ask a very ignorant question.
Yes, sir.
And I know I'm derailing because you were on a whole terpene topic, but so as somebody who doesn't smoke weed, I remember back in the day there was you watch movies and oh, this is skunk weed, you know what I mean? That's bad weed. Is there still places that are legally operating in either Las Vegas or in Reno that kind of sell not good product, or
in the sense of like bad for you product, or more like not high quality,
not high quality stuff?
That's a matter of opinion, but there's really, Yes. There, in my opinion, there are some people that are selling bunk weeds.
Right.
Boo boo. Right.
And of course, it also depends on your tolerance of how much it takes to.
Well, and it's not even that, but it's just you get it and this is super dry. It's kind of leafy or whatever it may be. It just
all these things you have to know about.
Leafy. It just it wasn't trimmed
weed.
It wasn't trimmed very well. The nugs are really small.
Or there's stems still in there.
A lot of stems in it.
What's a stem?
Seeds.
You really educated me right now.
No, a legit stem. Stem isn't
if you
a twig.
Yeah. So if you think of a cannabis plant as a general, it's like a regular plant, and the flower. So think about
that plant behind you right there.
Yeah. So these plants behind me. So if this was growing flowers and it was a cannabis plant, the flower would be the bud that you smoke.
Oh, okay.
So the leaves of it. Not the stems.
Yeah,
you can't get anything from the stems, or can you?
You can get something from everything. It just depends on how you use it. And and that's the other thing, right? It's we don't even know the extent of post-smoking and recreational medical use, hempcrete, right? There's companies that are making concrete out of hemp, and hemp insulation, and hemp rope, and hemp clothing, and because hemp's super durable.
Hemp used to be used way back in the day.
So a lot of sailors used to use it, and then the plastic industry got really popular, so they started using nylon. So it's crazy, right? The hemp is way cheaper to produce, but you could pay someone more money to lobby for you, and you can make it illegal.
Right. So we were talking about terpenes real quick. There's different kinds. We don't know how many kinds there are. Every terpene affects you differently.
Yeah.
Is there, when you buy products for whether it's edibles or it's actual strains from a cannabis shop, are they required by law to list the terpenes? Do they not want to do that?
They'll have lab. Yeah. So everything that goes into a dispensary has to be lab tested.
Right.
So we'll have a list of, usually it's the top 3 terpenes.
Okay. What are the top 3?
No. Top 3 in that plant.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it could be a mixture of whatever, and then so it needs to show you THC percentage, CBD. It usually will do THC, CBD, and then if let's say for example, let's say there is CBN in it, 0.1%. They'll put that on there too. So it just depends on what lab you go to and what you're looking for. The other issue with the labs too is let's say for example you have, because right now the market is based around THC percentages. So you walk into a dispensary, a lot of people will ask, what's your highest THC percentage? And that's not a determinant on whether this is going to be better weed or bad weed. But a lot of people, what they'll do is figure out what labs in town test higher, on average. So there's more labs that are conservative. So they're labs that let's just say, for example, we take a certain strain, let's just say the green crack, and it's a 20%. Let's say on average it'd be at 20%. But this lab A is conservative, so they always go 2 to 3% lower. So that's a 17 to 18%. But lab B goes higher, and they do usually 22 to 23%. the company that goes higher is going to go with that company because they know that higher THC percentage usually
looks better,
and it turns into sales. So dude, it's a sticky business right now.
Yeah, literally,
it's a sticky business. So yeah,
damn,
I want to go back to Adderall though because about mid-90s.
Yeah.
So I took Adderall, and we talked about this before the show. I took Adderall my junior to senior year of college, and I used it, for school. Helped me lose weight.
It was prescribed to you.
Prescribed. I had intention to get it prescribed to me.
Wait, how old were you?
I was 20 years old.
Oh, okay.
And I've always when I was younger, I got diagnosed with this thing called it's essentially like the precursor of ADHD or ADD.
I was gonna say like my day. Like my.
I hate you, bro. I hate you so much.
And so my parents were never like, no, we're not putting fucking my kid on any pills. Like, fuck that anyways. So kudos to them. And then once I got to college, I was like, oh shit, like people around me are doing this stuff. It helps a lot. I had tried it before. Like I could do it. And it's very addicting. So I got on it. And so at first I was just doing like 15 milligrams a day. And by the time I was getting off it, I was taking 230 milligram XRs a day, which is a lot of Adderall.
I thought you said 230. You had 230 milligrams.
Yeah, 230 milligrams a day. And so Adderall is very addicting. It's the same chemical compound as meth, but it's just missing a molecule or whatever. Once again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know the exact terminology, but it's essentially meth. Mm-hmm. And so once I learned that, I was like, oh fuck. And so it fucks with your head, it fucks with your brain, it fucks with your body. So it's just overall not good for you.
I was gonna say, does it have the same effects as meth when like your teeth and all that stuff?
Well, it's it's a controlled stuff. It's controlled, because it's made by an actual like pharmacy, not by a guy in the kitchen or whatever.
Yeah.
But
a guy in the kitchen.
Or however meth is made. I don't know. I don't know how meth is made. But you change. You change as a person. Honestly, I can remember my personality kind of changing, and people around me telling me my personality was changing.
What did it change about your personality to make you more direct,
like short-tempered?
Short-tempered, just a little bit angered. Like the way I thought was this kind of weird. Honestly, like the way like I did things, and like if I like so. There's a point when an Adderall hits you where like you're not like talking in complete sentences almost. Like, whoa. I don't know. Like, no, I don't know if you like, you just straight up cracked out. Yeah. You're just cracked out and you're like kind of looking at like, I don't know, you're twitchy a little bit. And so
I thought Adderall was supposed to make you focus though.
It does for some people, but for other people, it just makes you cracked out. Especially if you take way too much.
Oh, okay. Well, you were taking double. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
that's crazy,
thanks. Shout out to weed for getting me off of it and really helped me with that.
Also, so weed got you off of Adderall?
Well, yeah, it really helped. It really helped with me, and I started using it. I started using weed less as a recreational drug, as more as a medicine. So in the mornings now I wake up, I'll smoke a joint or a bowl or whatever with my cold brew, and I'll get my day started with working or go to the gym or whatever. But I usually smoke before I came here. I smoke before I go to the gym. Yeah. I smoke before I work. I smoke before I have like big meetings to calm me down. Yeah.
Now, do you have like anxiety and things like that?
A little bit, but not like anything crazy. I kind of like anxiety a little bit. I don't know if that's
it
weird.
It pushes you.
It just gives me just keeps me on my feet. Like I just like being like, I don't want to be complacent ever. So,
that's what Red Bull does to me.
Yeah, Red Bull.
Bro, if I ever go, like, if I have a meeting or something like that, or I got to go talk to a client, I take a Red Bull just to give me that kind of extra, like,
edge.
Attentiveness, you know what I mean? And it just keeps me focused. Yeah.
Put you on your toes.
I bet you we'll find out in like 10 years there was something in Red Bull.
Yeah, there's coke in it.
That's what I'm waiting to hear that on LaCroix right now. Like I wrote that whole train. Like I'm like I love them so much, and I'm gonna drink them until someone says like, yeah, no, those are fucking terrible for you.
I feel like there has to be a catch to those things.
That's what I'm trying to say. There has to be a fucking catch.
Have you ever heard of the there was another brand, Stevias? Zevias, they're called Zevias.
Yes.
Zevias.
Yeah, I've heard of Zevias.
So me and my brother, when we were on like doing the ketogenic diet and everything like that, okay, so we can't have Coke. So what can we do to replace Coca-Cola and all this sugary stuff? So we started drinking these Zevias, and bro, they taste it. When you don't have sugar and you drink those, you're like, it's a perfect replacement. Mm-hmm. Like I don't even need Coke anymore. Exactly. This is even better. Yeah. But it just doesn't like. I don't know. Like I get into this train of thought where it's like if it's not water, there's something in it that you shouldn't be drinking.
100%.
That's how I feel. But you know, I've been doing a lot of research online, and I like
Instead of research.
I didn't even hear that.
And you know, there's just like natural, and they call it natural essence, which are actually terpene derived. Because there was a thing that came out that was talking about how like there's limonene, limonene, and terpinolene in some LaCroix, and those, depending on if they're, you know, botanical derived or, you know, cannabis derived terpenes, because terpenes are also in like flowers and fruits, and you know what I'm saying. So like if you smell like,
so if you go out there and you eat a sunflower, you're consuming terpenes.
Really?
I'm asking.
Yeah. I don't know if there's I know there's terpenes in like lavender, for example, has terpenes in it. Or like oranges, lemons, those have terpenes in it, right?
Yeah.
So like if you like were to smell some cannabis flower and it has that like fruity smell, those are the same type of terpenes that you're getting from fruits.
Okay.
So LaCroix had this case come out about them that they you know that they were putting like pesticides, like
I heard about that.
And so certain terpenes are natural insect repellents.
Yeah.
Insect repellents.
Yeah.
So that's what that was essentially.
Well, you said certain water insect repellents.
Terpenes are insect repellents.
Oh, okay,
insect
gotcha.
repellents. I'm sorry.
I was watching this whole debate yesterday about how like GMO versus non-GMO. And essentially how like, well, if you go into a grocery store, anything you buy is GMO. Anything you go and buy some organic bananas, those are GMO. Bananas don't look like that. They've been genetically modified in some way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff.
You know what I mean?
Anything.
Everything's GMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be specific.
You got to grow that shit in your backyard.
What was grown with pesticides and the thing was like even organic stuff is grown with pesticides, bro.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
Even the water that organic like vegetables and fruits use, it literally has oil leaking into their water system, and they just don't care. They're like, we can't do anything about it. And so if you try to like escape that shit,
twist money.
Yeah, you're just wasting time.
But I love Whole Foods, so fuck it.
Just be. My whole thing is just like to be healthy is just be happy.
And now Whole Foods got bought out by Amazon, so you about to have drones delivering your Amazon orders, bro.
I'm down. If drones can deliver my Amazon order and some food from the hot bar at Whole Foods, I'll buy them.
Have you ever tried the wheatgrass shots?
Yes.
Pretty bomb, right?
Yeah.
I had a buddy.
You really gotta, you know, it's an acquired taste.
I don't think so, bro, because I tried it for the first time and I loved it. It could have been just because of the people I was around.
Because everyone,
they hyped me up, and I was like, good. Yeah. But I was like, I took it and I was like, oh damn, I want another one.
I do like drinking like celery juice and all that stuff. Like it doesn't bother me. It's like, oh, this is just juice.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend just got a juicer actually not too long ago, and we've been juicing like crazy.
Yeah,
I substitute all my breakfast with juice.
Good shit, man.
Yeah, there's cannabis actually drinks now too, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Because I was
crazy.
I was checking out MedMen just to see what kind of stuff they had.
Which one?
There was one in California. I was out there and I was like, I'm gonna go.
The ones in California are fucking awesome.
They're also expensive.
Well, when you go to California, you gotta go to the gray market ones. And I don't take my advice on this, but the gray market ones is where the good deals are at with the dank weed.
What's a gray market one?
It's like a semi-legal, semi-illegal cannabis shop. So it's not like I'm going to Chuck's apartment and buying. Like these are actual storefronts.
Yeah, in somebody's home.
No, they're like storefronts that are disguised as something else. And you can find them on like Weed Maps.
It's like a Ready Mart, and then they happen to sell those cannabis drinks.
No, it's like this is a dispensary, but you got to be in the know. Like you got to like know. Like so, there's this one I used to go to in LA that my boy Daniel used to take me to, and the only way you can get in there is you have to be recommended by someone who's been there before.
What?
So, yeah, so it was like
some exclusive stuff.
It was cool.
It's kind of tight.
Some Eyes Wide Shut stuff.
Yeah, it was some. And then those get shut down like every other week, so you have to like switch them up. You have to like, you have to have like 3 or 4 gray market in your pocket.
Whoa.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Are there any out here in Vegas?
No. Well, not that I know of. Not that, I mean, there probably is.
Yeah.
But not that I know of.
Wait, so what do you use primarily cannabis for? You use it for, you said to kind of keep you on edge and?
Just, all around, just throughout my day. Like, I just, it just keeps me, I guess focus is a good word. It keeps me, I think I'm a lot nicer when I use it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not much of an asshole when I smoke weed.
Yeah. I tried edibles, and I think the one I tried was the one that makes you sleep, because I was I was knocked
you out.
Yeah.
Edibles are tough. Edible, because you digest it, and so it
takes a while to hit you.
Yeah, and the way it metabolizes the THC metabolizes in your system is completely different.
It's really heavy.
Yeah, compared to where you smoke it. So like, if anyone, that's why, because edibles to like your regular house bomb seems very not as dangerous as smoking a joint. But it's way worse because you can just hit
cute. It's cute.
Yes, you can
try this brownie. Try this gummy bear.
Yeah, hey,
exactly.
It's got little eyeballs. It smells like
and before you know it, you take 10, and then you're like, oh fuck, there's no return from that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You can smoke a joint and put it down.
I've known about edibles, bro. I think the reason I heard horror stories about edibles was before it was legal, and people used to make them.
Yeah,
and
people still make them.
And yeah, people still make them, but you don't know how many milligrams you're getting per
Plus
bite or
the
whatever.
Concentration is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
if you eat a whole brownie, whole brownie, you might be consuming 200 milligrams.
You have no clue.
That's why, like, the biggest thing, anybody who's listening, like when you do edibles, microdose it.
Test
you know
it
what
out.
I mean? Like let it set in and like kind of see how it's going. Like even if it doesn't hit you for 2 or 3 hours, just wait. You do sometimes have to wait because sometimes it takes like edible. It took one time for an edible to hit me for almost 4 hours.
Really?
It hit me. And I was like, thank God I didn't keep going with it. Like I would have been done. Because I've done that. Like, oh, it's been 2 hours and I don't feel anything. And I ate the whole thing. And then it's like, ooh,
there was
shouldn't have done that.
One time in college, I remember having a homemade edible and taking it like a night, like taking it at like 8 o'clock at night. And then going to bed and waking up super stoned. Like,
really?
Like, and I had to go to work. And I got to work and they got there. And they're like, do you have the flu? Like, what's wrong with you? And they sent me home that day. Wow. And I was that fucked up. They sent me home. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
when you wake up high, that's deep.
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit.
Wait, do you know how many milligrams you took?
It was probably like 300-400, and like this, like, and I slept like, I probably slept like 4 or 5 hours, but it was like, I woke up and I was just like, it was bad.
Yeah, that's why I like edibles for sleeping because they literally, I don't dream. They literally just, I knock out and I wake up and I'm like, whoa. That's a deep ass sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know if Brandon was talking about it or somebody was talking about it or it was Joe Rogan, but there's so THC just is good for sleep, but CBD fucks with your REM sleep. So it makes your REM cycles better. So that's why you have to use CBD.
I heard a crazy conversation
with
about
the
that.
THC, so the REM cycle doesn't get like.
Yeah.
This one dude was saying that basically, like, so if you take THC, you get really good sleep, but it's not instantly. You don't fall asleep instantly, right? But if you take CBD, you knock out faster, but you don't get that REM sleep. So this guy was talking about, like, I take about 40 milligrams of THC, 20 milligrams of CBD, and then like 80 milligrams of melatonin.
Damn.
Yeah. He's like, so in nightly, but it basically allows him to fall asleep fast, get full REM sleep, and wake up. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was like, damn, bro, you doing something out, bro. That's
some next
that sounds like
shit.
something we're gonna find out.
I know and I don't know a lot about melatonin, but I just never really fucked with it because I just didn't really like the idea of like I have to take a pill to go to bed.
See, I do.
Oh, you take melatonin?
Oh, I did for the so it started with CBD. I started taking CBD, but then I was like, damn, dude, this stuff is expensive. And I had to take 2 gummies that were 10 milligrams each, and we're talking about CBD, and the way it costs out here in Vegas was like it was $42 for a 28 pack. So then it would last you maybe like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So it's about 40 something bucks every 2 weeks, which is not terrible, but it's also like that's an expense now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're spending like $80 a month on it. So I was like, well, what's another alternative? I started taking NyQuil. I was like, okay, well, I was like, what's the next thing I could take? I started taking NyQuil, and I would take like a swig, and it would just mellow me out, and I go to sleep. Before I did this, I spent like an hour on the computer, and I was like, what are some side effects of NyQuil? What's bad about NyQuil? Couldn't find a single damn thing. So I was like, okay, maybe there's nothing wrong with it then. Maybe I can do this. But then somebody told me like, well, the reason you're not seeing anything bad is because you got these pharmaceutical companies that are pushing these, bad articles away. They're, so you don't see them.
Paying them off.
Yeah. So anyways, once I heard that, I was like, okay, well, let me try melatonin.
Yeah.
So I bought like a 100 pack?
So cheap.
And it was like $10, bro. I was like, okay, let me try this. I took 4. Boom, out, bro. Within like 15 minutes, it doesn't knock you out, but like you can feel your eyelids getting heavy, you know. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's dependent. You know, you're depending on something to help you go to sleep. And I haven't taken melatonin, CBD, or THC now for a while, and a month or so.
You been sleeping good?
Yeah, I haven't had an issue.
I can sleep anywhere. See, that's the bad thing about me. Like if I'm not doing something productive, I can fall asleep anywhere. That's why it's kind of.
That's because you work so much.
Yeah, bro. You work past your boiling point to where as soon as you have nothing to do, you're like, okay, time to turn off.
I've seen Chuck at events. I mean, like, Chuck, dude, what happened? He's like, I haven't slept in like 10 hours. It's like 10 days.
I believe it too. We did it. We wrapped up a podcast. Was it last night we wrapped up a podcast?
Yeah.
Last night, and then we went to go get something to eat. Came back. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Or maybe like 11:30. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna go to sleep till like 4 a.m. I'm like, what, bro? You gotta work the next day at like 9.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about I hate sleep. If I couldn't sleep, if I didn't have to sleep, I wouldn't sleep. But I do love sleep. Like the one thing about me too, like I can't. When I fall asleep, I fall asleep. Like it's so hard for me to wake up unless I set like 1,000 alarms.
I'm the opposite. Dude.
You're a light sleeper.
Dude, literally, I could hear like a crinkle of some leaves.
Yeah, that's my brother,
like,
bro.
What the fuck was that?
You can fart a mile away and his ass will.
So let me ask you a question, because we were talking about CBN being a different strain of CBD, right?
Yeah.
Where does one?
It's not essentially a strain of. It's a different cannabinoid altogether.
Endocannabinoid.
It's your endocannabinoid system.
Okay.
It's just a cannabinoid.
I can never get that word right.
What's a cannabinoid?
Cannabinoid.
Exactly. Again?
I don't know the exact scientific, but there are types, like it's like THC. It's a type of cannabinoid.
Yeah.
There's certain, like the cannabinoid goes into it's a receptor. So, I don't want to fuck this up.
Is it cannabinoid receptors or is that CBD receptors?
No, you have CB1 and CB2 receptors.
Got it.
So CB1 are usually more in like your head, and CB2 are more throughout your body. But once again, this is all information that is kind of speculative. So there's some CB1s in your body, CB2s in your head, and then certain. So these, like THC, for example, right? They'll attach to these receptors, and so just like your metabolism, right? You know, the more you work out, the better you eat, the faster your metabolism will move.
Yeah.
So the easier to break it down, and same thing with your endocannabinoid system. So the more you smoke or the more you use CBD, the faster it'll break it down and it will create more receptors.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna take a while for me to understand. I'll have to rewatch this podcast.
Honestly, I like how I said, like I like to be like the most knowledgeable guy in the room, but there's sometimes I fuck up with the knowledge, or I'll read something incorrect,
right?
Yeah.
And I'll think that sounds about right, but it's not.
So, kind of like what I wanted to ask was, how does somebody go to get CBN, like to get that specific?
It's not easy.
It's not?
No, I mean, you'd have to look online, and I don't even know who cultivates it. I'm guessing a more like a more developed market like Oregon or Washington probably has something similar to it. I've seen, and this is the other thing, right? People lie all the fucking time. I've seen people who have like, oh, we got CBN oil. Like, bro, what the fuck did you get that from? Right? Like, where are you cultivating that at?
Yeah.
So that's.
I never understood any of those oils, lotions. Like I bought some CBD lotion. I don't think it really does anything.
Topical don't really work too good for me.
Like, I mean, it could just be me.
Everybody's different.
It could just be me because I'm a bigger dude or something. I don't know.
Not does have any CBD in it. It's just regular lotion.
Oh.
It could be, but I know from the same company, the gummies that I was taking, if I took 2, I was pretty good. Like it would knock me out.
That's the other thing, right? It's like they might skimp out on the lotion and you know what I'm saying. Like that's the issue, is that there's no one regulating this.
Right.
No one regulates the CBD market.
Right.
If you're in a dispensary, they have to somewhat regulate it, but not truly.
Right. Who would end up regulating the CBD industry? Would that be like the FDA?
Yeah.
Okay.
But until it's technically
which is
legal
federally
everywhere,
legal,
right?
Wait, CBD is federally legal across all 50 states.
Yeah. So under the there was a new one. I don't know the name of it's like the hemp bill, but it's not the hemp bill. It was the farm bill or agricultural bill that just passed in 2018.
Yeah.
It just passed, and under that bill, hemp is under the THC has to be below 0.03%, and that's considered industrial hemp.
Yeah, hemp used to have a lot of good uses for hemp before they decided to kind of label it marijuana.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing in the early 40s, 50s.
Yeah,
because it used to be like 30s. Everything was made out of hemp back in the day. Tons of
stuff.
Yeah.
And people would use a lot of cannabis products as well too. And so what happened was, I don't know I don't know what this guy's position was, but essentially, if there was like attorney general or something of that nature, there were a lot of Hispanics moving into America, and a lot of them smoked cannabis, also called marijuana.
Yeah. That's a racist
marijuana
word.
is a racist term.
It's a racist term. So is jazz cabbage. That's also another racist term.
Jazz cabbage?
Yeah.
Jazz cabbage?
You've ever heard of that?
That sounds a little racist.
Jazz cigarettes. I remember jazz cigarettes.
Jazz cabbage is cannabis, but there's a brand in Nevada called jazz cabbage, unfortunately.
Really?
But yeah.
All racist.
All racist as fuck.
Yeah. So, would you ever start your own cannabis storefront retail chain?
Of course. Yeah, it's just expensive.
Is that a dream or is that a thing?
I don't know if it's my dream is just to I just like building and creating, right? Like, I think that's dope to create, and I like creating. I love food. Like, I really do love food. I love cannabis. I love cars. I really like TV shows and stuff too. Like, I wouldn't mind being a producer of a TV show at some point, right? Like, I just think, but the biggest issue is what it comes down to is like income. So I got to figure out how to make enough income where I can do all these ventures.
Yeah.
So cannabis right now is the means to the end. But I love cannabis, so it's great. I want to be in cannabis the rest of my life. But I would also like to be in other industries as well.
Yeah, of course. Which it will come. Different streams of revenue.
Yeah, of course.
All that stuff.
I want to talk about that podcast you have with JC.
Okay, let's dive into that.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that.
Let's do it.
So Culture and Cannabis. Culture and Cannabis, as you guys both well know, is a monthly event that's been happening in Vegas now. How long has it been happening, Chuck? Like 2 years, 3 years?
2-3 years.
And that's crazy because I just started seeing
damn, I'm not even sure.
I just started seeing it on my feed, maybe because I just started recently following JC and everybody. And I'm not huge into the whole downtown area, like what the events are going on and everything, because I'm kind of like a homebody. I don't really go out that much. Unless it's like a photography event, then I'll go.
Unless you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You ain't leaving the house.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's like a six shooters event that's happening tomorrow.
What's that?
They're trying to do it monthly now. But essentially it showcases 5 photographers, 5 videographers.
Six shooters.
And it's like a showcase, like a gallery, like an art gallery.
Dope.
So what they do is they pick 5 photographers and they print the people themselves print out 5 works from those photographers, and then you basically get to meet them, get to talk about their work, and it's like a networking event also. If you're a local photographer and you want to meet models, models go there, fashion stylists, everything like that. It's pretty dope, man.
Cool event.
I'm gonna try to make it because it's tomorrow, which it doesn't matter to anybody who's listening.
Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. Yeah.
What time's that at?
I think 7:30 to like 1:30.
Oh, dope.
a.m.
So
and it's at CMX. You know CMX?
Oh, yeah.
That's where Culture and Cannabis
is. Okay, perfect. There you go. Okay, so back on Cannabis and
3
Culture.
years. I think it was 3 years.
Yeah. Culture and Cannabis.
Culture and Cannabis.
It's it's one of the world's largest one of the largest cannabis and cultures event on the West Coast right now. JC Coates had started it about 2-3 years ago, and then me and JC became in contact when he started doing marketing for New Leaf, and he started doing these events up in New Leaf, Lake Tahoe. He hit me up through Instagram. I came up and started doing the podcast with him. Fast forward to like literally a month or 2 ago, I hit him up and said, "Hey man, let's figure out a way to do some shit." And he was like, "How about starting a podcast?" I was like, "I'm down, but I know it's a lot of work." And he was like, "Well, I know this guy named Chuck," and he's like, he has a podcast. He has a little studio that we can use. I was like, "All right, great." So the Culture and Cannabis podcast idea is, kind of what you guys do, but more focus on cannabis and the culture around it, and the entrepreneurs and the shakers and movers within it. So we like to showcase people who are like artists within the cannabis industry, entrepreneurs in the cannabis industry, artists in the cannabis industry. Did I say that already? Artists? I say 2 artists.
Yeah.
Performers.
It's all good.
Performers, artists, whatever. Yeah. Musicians, all the above. Just all around cannabis industry, and then people that are ancillary to the cannabis industry, right? Like Chuck, for example, he might not be directly in the cannabis industry, but he's taking a fuck ton of photos of people in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
So
I've seen his computer desktop every time I go down there.
Lightroom is always open, or Photoshop or Premiere.
Yeah. So the idea is kind of like what you guys are doing here, but more focus on the cannabis culture.
Trying to bring light to cannabis.
Yeah, and just kind of show people, that we're not just a bunch of fucking stoners, you know. We're movers and shakers in the world, not just the cannabis industry.
It's an entire industry, like you said. It's an industry because I mean, even like crypto's a new industry. You can make a TV show about it. You can do a whole YouTube channel, a daily YouTube channel talking about new topics that are just coming out because it's an ever growing and changing industry. I'm pretty sure like in the cannabis industry, there's things that change all the time, and there's things that are getting added to it and new ways of doing things. You know what? One thing I do want to ask is that what about marketing wise, as far as like targeting on Facebook? When do you guys promote the event through Facebook? Or Instagram?
JC, yeah. So the events get promoted through Facebook. But so the issue with the cannabis industry and so the reason why Reno as fuck is so awesome is that Reno as fuck was like a practice run for the cannabis industry, because you can't buy Facebook advertisement, you can't buy Instagram advertisement.
And why?
Just because of Facebook guidelines, and it's still federally illegal.
Got it.
And so, you know, there's loopholes around the system, and JC's a very smart marketer, so he can, shouts out.
There you go. Yeah. For those who are listening, I put the Reno as fuck sticker on.
I forget that people, listen to us and not just watch us.
Yeah. Sometimes we forget too. We have to explain it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what
it's a process.
Yeah, we have to go over everything. Yeah. We just like reiterate on things.
But yeah, so I don't know.
Talking about JC, he cultivated the Facebook marketing.
Oh yeah. So he's really good at the whole cannabis Facebook marketing, and working the system on that with getting it boosted, in roundabout ways, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, but if you can do it, you can become very successful like he has.
Shout out to JC.
Yeah, shout out to that guy.
And what at these events, culture and cannabis, what is the experience of somebody? Let's say I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
I walk through the front door. What do I see?
It's wild, honestly. Like, he's changed multiple locations in this new location. So you've been to CMX.
Yeah.
My favorite
Shout
location.
out to Ness.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ness.
So, they have that, like, the catwalk in the middle of it, and it's huge. So it's just, like, loud, and there's so many people there, and people are walking across, people on the mic. There's music. There's food. There's alcohol now. Different cannabis brand. So it's just like you can go there. You can go there for multiple reasons, right? You can go there to go networking, and that's a big reason why I go. And not only because I help with the event, but the networking part. So I can go and meet other people in the cannabis industry that are like-minded like me. But for someone who's not in the cannabis industry that just wants to go hang out, you can learn a lot. Just you can hear just by listening to people talk. You can listen to lingo, right? Because you're just listening to people talk and hear what they have to say and how they say it and the way they go about saying it can change your whole perspective on that industry, on the cannabis industry. Like, I don't know a goddamn thing about crypto.
Yeah.
But I bet you if I would have listened to a conversation, I could probably, fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
feel what I've done. Every time we talk about crypto on this podcast, I'm like, oh, I've done this podcast with
Well, this fool was really into it. I was like, damn, this fool knows some shit. He was always like knowing what the next crypto and like the forks.
I have an addictive personality.
Okay.
Thank God it hasn't gotten me into anything bad. but when I first heard about crypto, at first I dismissed it. And that was the first mistake I made. And this was back in like 2013. No, was it 2013? Yeah. No.
2013 for crypto?
Yeah. When was it? When we had the studio, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a studio downtown.
Okay.
And it was, I think it was like $600-$800 per Bitcoin.
Damn.
And I was like, nah, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I don't even know what it is. I don't it's just like anything else. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it, right? It's not, why am I gonna put my hard-earned dollars into something I don't understand?
Exactly. It's gambling.
Yeah, so I should have done the research then, but it wasn't until it hit that big $20,000 where I was like, that's what made the whole world go, oh shit, hold on, there's something going on here. There's something's happening, because that doesn't happen overnight. It took 10 years to happen, right?
Yep.
So that's when I decided to start. I think before it hit 20,000, is when I started getting into it, right?
20,000.
It was at like 12,000.
Oh yeah. No, I think even like when it was like.
Oh, it was like 8. No, because you got into it when it was at 7,000, 8,000.
Yeah.
And then I got into it shortly after you when it was like 10, 12. Yeah. It's crazy.
I really wish, like, and that's one thing that, because a lot of people I grew up around, they weren't really investors. They weren't really people who knew about Roth IRAs and like funds. So
I guess
there's just a lot of stupid people around me financially. Mm-hmm. And trust me, I was one of them. But I kind of, that's why it's so tight now, because these kids can learn shit in school. That's why you have these kids on like Robinhood and like these stock markets at school, and they're like starting from their little chores, making money, and then working all the way through high school, and they already have $500,000 in their bank account.
Dude, it's
and
crazy.
I'm like,
isn't that crazy how like
it's
back
not
in
easy.
the day,
it's not easy, but Yeah.
But you can
respect.
learn it's the access to
So
information
viable.
is so much easier, and you have apps. So you're like Robinhood, right? Like my first stock trade was on fucking E-Trade, and it was super difficult to figure out how the fuck to do it.
Yeah.
And then Robinhood came out. I was like, bro, fuck any other platform, because Robinhood's the only way to go.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna make really big, make big purchases.
I just think
you
it's
gotta
crazy.
you gotta read the fine print in that Robinhood.
I think it's crazy that back in like even like early 2000s, man, you think about the stock exchange, how you would see like these movies where like everybody's on the floor, right?
Yep.
And they're all like, oh, buy this, sell this, and it seemed like such a hectic and complicated world that you could never get into. That was like you had to be born into that world,
It
right?
still is pretty hectic in Chicago.
But
The
actually,
stock
bro,
exchange.
is it? Because I heard it's died down a lot.
Oh, it's probably died down, but I know it gets hectic at certain points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
yeah.
I just meant as like now you have kids who are like in high school and they're day trading.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I remember my grandpa, he like literally had to watch the TV, the little numbers are going across, and then you call in on your stockbroker, and you'll be like, okay,
That's crazy.
does that look good? Should I buy in on that?
Yeah.
Okay, put that in for me. And I'm like, because I was wondering what the fuck he was looking at. You know what I mean? Because it showed the stock market and then just had all these numbers. I was like, I have no clue.
And it's essentially just gambling, right? Like, you can go.
You're gambling on
You
it.
can go to the casino and put it all on black, and it'd be just as maybe better odds depending on who you're gambling
You
on.
want to know what's crazy is even if Bitcoin doesn't make it to like the New York Stock Exchange, there are things like Bitcoin futures, which is essentially a futures market, which is basically not even physically betting on Bitcoin, but betting on the possibility that it's going to go up or down.
Yes.
So you're not betting in Bitcoin. You're not going to win Bitcoin. It's US dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, I think Bitcoin's going to go up this amount. And then it's you can bet on anything. You can bet on a video game. People watching video games. You can bet on anything.
Yeah, I think
So
Bitcoin is like MySpace for social media. I think Bitcoin is the MySpace of cryptocurrency is how I should put it. Like, I think cryptocurrency, I don't know a lot about it, but what I do know about it is that I think it's very intricate, and it's like a more level playing field when it comes to like distribution of wealth.
Yeah.
So I think like, you know how MySpace kind of really started social media? Like it was like AIM Messenger kind of started.
Right.
But then MySpace was like really like the platform.
MySpace led the way for Facebook.
Yes. And I think there's going to be a Facebook that comes after Bitcoin.
Yeah.
In the cryptocurrency world.
Bro, there's literally...
There's tons too, like Ethereum. I know Ethereum's like a crazy type of blockchain.
Oh, yeah.
And
Smart
there's
contracts.
Yeah, smart contracts. There's Litecoin. There's
a little bit, man.
but Bitcoin
There's
Cash.
so many cryptos out there.
Yeah, there's so many.
And then what's crazy is when they fork.
Yes.
When a crypto forks, so it's like you originally had Bitcoin, but then people were like, "Oh, it shouldn't be run this way.
Bitcoin
it should
Cash.
run this way. Let's
Yeah.
make Bitcoin Cash." And Bitcoin Cash just recently, within the last couple months,
Was it bat?
forked. So now it's BSV and BCA something else.
And what I think was so crazy too is that you had there's certain you had to buy Bitcoin to invest in this type of cryptocurrency. Like how you can you can invest only Ethereum into this certain type of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's so deep.
Yeah.
It goes very deep.
Yeah, I think the future of social media is going to be like for the artists, for the entrepreneurs, for the hustlers who are making content and they're not getting paid, right? I think once content exists on a blockchain, you can get rid of things like, oh, they just stole my video and uploaded it to their channel and they got 10 million views, but I didn't get any of the money. Once you have once you have something on a blockchain, I don't know how it's gonna work, but imagine if you uploaded a piece of content and anywhere it went, if somebody screenshot it, somebody took a photo with their phone and then they shared it, it's still tagged as your content,
and you're gonna get some type of revenue.
You get
no
revenue
matter what.
for, right?
That's super cool.
That's the next level, I think, of because like YouTube does a certain job right now as far as like, well, you make ad revenue from your videos if they get this many views, but you can't stop somebody from taking your video and making money off of it. The internet is new. But yeah, I think cryptocurrency is going to be one of those things that kind of helps artists get paid too. Like I don't know if you've heard of BAT. Brave Attention Token. So there's the guy who originally created JavaScript. He created a company called Basic Attention Token, which is his version of tokenizing attention on the internet. So like even if you have a post on Facebook, if it gets a certain amount of attention, people can donate BAT to it. And he actually created a working product that's really dope. It's called the Brave Attention browser. It's an actual web browser like a Safari or Google Chrome, and it works in a way where you can tip BAT. So if you're watching a YouTube video, you can tip them BAT if they have a BAT account. You know, like a Brave attention token, and you can cash it out from actual physical dollars.
What is that website? You know? Stream.io, I think, or Steam.io.
Yeah, the Steam sounds right.
So basically, like,
I don't know.
Not Steam.
Not Steam, the video game platform downloader, but this other site, like
Is it Steam it?
Yeah, something like that. It's like everybody gets paid on here. So the commenters. So if you get upvotes, people are actually giving you money for the upvotes. If your video does good, people are giving you money.
Damn.
Like, so everybody's making. So you can put your music on there. If people like it, you give them money, and if a comment's cool, that person can get money.
Yeah, it's called Steam It. So if you create a dope piece of content like Reddit, imagine if your post on Reddit got upvoted to the top page, you're getting money off of that.
Let's say every upvote just, let's make it cheap, you know, like 10 cents each.
Even a penny.
Micro penny. Yeah. And here's another thing, another interesting about cryptocurrency. Like, imagine if we can get rid of ads, right? Completely cut out advertising on the internet for YouTube videos and things like that. You can directly pay the content creator without even knowing you're paying for the content. So like, you have a wallet, right? Let's say you have an hour-long video. You pay 1/10 of a penny. You don't know you're paying 1/10 of a penny because it's such a small amount.
Yeah.
But the content creator who's getting 10 million views is getting paid for that content, or whatever it is, you know. And you only pay for the content you consume, as opposed to like, oh well, like, I'm gonna pay $13 a month on Netflix, whether I watch Netflix or not. I'm paying $13 a month. You know, so
that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Just goes to show.
I think it's just a game of like, because that's what I want to create in my lifetime. I just want everybody to win around me. Like, not just me, not just my family and friends, but I want everybody to do their thing and kill it.
Everyone taking W's.
Yeah, because it's just like, because the thing is, you can give anybody a tool.
Yeah,
they're not going to use it.
That's true.
But if you use it, you deserve it.
I feel like though, I mean, and correct me if you don't think I'm right. I feel like there's people that don't want to win though.
No, 100%.
Like there's people. 100%. There's like people like, dude, you have every opportunity in the world, and you just like don't give a fuck.
That's why we just want to complain.
There's a lot of people that want to just complain.
It's easier to complain and whine and hate than it is to actually make moves and do stuff and be positive. You know what I mean? That's why negativity shines. But it's just
that's why negativity is the biggest thing on the internet.
Yeah,
true.
You know,
that's why the YouTube video.
You could have somebody who makes a dope piece of content, and maybe they spend months preparing to make that video. Maybe they spend a certain amount of money marketing the video and hiring actors, and you know, it's their life's work. And then the guy who talks the most shit or is the most creative with his shit talking gets just as much shine because he's the top comment.
It's
you know
crazy.
What I mean?
It's crazy how that shit works.
Yeah.
Man.
Now imagine if cryptocurrency, if there was a way
you downvote that fuck.
Where you could leave negative feedback, but it would cost you money to do that.
Damn, like, hey, go fuck yourself. Here's a penny.
Because then you know at that site, there'd be no haters.
Or you could gain money by leaving positive feedback and being like, you know, genuinely liking videos and watching content. So the more content you consume, the small amount you start gaining in revenue. But when you shit talk, it takes away from you. You know what I mean?
Crazy. That's crazy to think about. Yeah. I do think though that there needs to be some shit talking in the world.
Oh, no, for sure.
Personally, I just feel like that. I don't know. I feel like
your skin.
Yeah, there on certain of a couple of my different posts for Reno as fuck, I've been low key getting some hate. Not hate, but just like low jabs. Like people that I know, like, why the fuck are you jabbing me, bro? Like, what the fuck did I do to you? But it's just like, it's okay. Like people can have their own opinion. People can talk shit. At the end of the day, as long as you care about what you're doing, that doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And too, you know, like haters are your motivators. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
All day.
And we hella got off topic.
Yeah, I don't even know where we're at anymore.
I'm sorry.
But no. That's good. This is what we want. Yeah. This is conversation.
Yeah.
Well, one of the questions we had was, do you think cannabis will ever flatline?
In like the cannabis industry?
Yeah.
Oh, it's doing it right now.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's a race. So, okay, I'll give you an example.
Explain.
So, July 1st, 2017, cannabis became recreational in Reno, and it was fucking bazonkers for a year straight. Anyone that had a cannabis license was making money because everyone wanted to buy weed.
Right. Even if you didn't smoke weed, you wanted to buy it.
Yeah, you just wanted to go check it out. Like I don't care.
It's legal now.
And in the hype was so real that you were so excited that you would go back like 4 or 5 times, or you go check out like 4 or 5 different dispensaries. Mm-hmm. And so fast forward to today. The cannabis industry, if you're in the industry, you kind of know that the people that produce the weed, like the actual brands, not the dispensaries. The dispensaries are always making money because people want to buy weed, but the brands themselves are not making as much money as they used to be because one, it's starting to flatline. Like the cannabis consumption use is like are starting to flatline because the people who are being introduced to cannabis isn't as rapid as it was when it became recreationally legal, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, my grandfather's a perfect example, right? He didn't start smoking until about 3 to 4 months. Like, what did I say? 3 to 4 months ago, about a year ago. No, maybe it was a year ago. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But you know, the amount of people that are going to jump on that cannabis train is going to slow down.
Yeah,
because it's become normalized. It's gonna become like alcohol. Like, oh yeah, you know, I might go get a joint. I might go get a beer.
Yeah.
I might go get a bite to eat. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And that's the other thing, right? That's crazy thing about like with just like drugs in general. If you make it legalized, people don't care as much about it.
Yeah. Right.
So cannabis is gonna flatline. Right now, a perfect example is like Oregon. Oregon and Washington, they have they allowed unlimited licenses. So you have guys selling, literally, essentially giving weed away for free, like selling ounces for $20-$30. Where here in Nevada, they'd be like $200-$300.
Wow.
And so it's just because, you know, they have so much product and nowhere to sell it.
What is it like? Was it Washington or was it Oregon? Like $5 grams?
Yeah,
or something?
$5 eighths.
Eighths.
Yeah.
So how much is that here?
$50 for a good eighth.
Fucking crazy.
Between $30 and $50. $30 for a good deal.
But it's not that way anymore, right?
In Nevada?
And you said Colorado?
No, Oregon, Washington. Yeah. So the market in Colorado is a little bit more sustainable, but and that's because they did it more based on a business side compared to Oregon. The structure in Oregon and Washington is just completely different. The way Nevada did it correctly, you know.
Yeah, Nevada's holding on to licenses and shit.
Yeah, they're holding on to licenses, the infrastructure that they built. I mean, when it comes to vices in Nevada, we know how to fucking regulate them, like gambling, drinking, prostitution, and now weed. Yeah, like we just get it.
Yeah.
So we know we know what the fuck we're doing when it comes to that. But yeah, it's for sure gonna flatline, and you can already see it. Yeah. The writing's on the wall.
I think like any other industry though, whether it's like stocks,
once it popularizes,
crypto, anything. Yeah. It has a cycle. Yeah, there's a cycle to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about how when Bitcoin went to $20,000, every coin,
yes,
all 1,700 coins, triple, quadruple, you know, went up 10 times, and then it went back down, and now it's at an all-time. Everything's
like what, $6,000 now, right now, $4,000 right now.
4,000. I think it was at 3,600 the other day.
It'd be fluctuating from like 3 to 4.
It'd be fluctuating.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
But you know,
bro, that's like my number.
I'm not worried about it. Yeah, me either.
I'm not worried about it.
It's a savings account, bro.
It's a savings account. Like, you know what? I will be honest with you, bro. Crypto was the biggest way for me to learn to invest. Because before I would save money for 3, 5, 6 months, and then I would take it out and buy something because I was like, oh, I saved. You know, but I never understood long-term saving until I hit Bitcoin. Because you would put, like, let's say put $100 in. Yeah. You're not going to cash out $100 or $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
You're waiting for it to hit 150, 200. You know what I mean? And it will, but it's just
amount of time.
Amount of time, you know. It maybe and if you look at the graphs, it's gone up every single year. Maybe now that it's a little bit more mainstream, maybe it might take a couple of years. Maybe take about five or 6 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Again.
Yeah, and
you never know.
And that, you know, and going back to cannabis, right? Like, we're not federally legal yet, so that's
CBD is though, right?
CBD is right. CBD is, and that's why CBD is so
popular,
hyped. Yeah, like fucking who's that chick that does Goop? What the fuck?
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, the chick.
Didn't she get sued recently?
Probably. I don't know.
She lost a ton of money.
She does the like the top 5 things of every year, and CBD was one of them for 2018.
No joke.
Yeah, no joke. So
yeah. She has a lot of, just for you, so people who are listening and don't know who Gwyneth Paltrow is. She's the girl on Iron Man. She is what's her name? She's Tony Stark's girl.
Yeah,
the redhead.
She's
girl.
super hot.
Yeah,
super beautiful lady.
Yeah.
But she has her own company called the Good Company or the Happy Company or something like that.
Yeah,
the Healthy Company, whatever it is, and they sell products that essentially give you good vibes.
Well, and
essentially, bro.
She does
essentially,
and she does this like yearly event where she'll like talk about like the top 5 trends in health and wellness.
Yeah.
And then after that goes, like you'll see everything that she like said. Like she like sets the trends that year.
Yeah. Like her demographic is like stay-at-home moms.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who I'm gonna spend $100 today.
Yeah.
I want some good vibes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and just buy 3 things for $300.
Gluten-free.
crazy.
Yeah.
Gluten free.
So
And good vibes.
Yeah, and good vibes. So I kind of see cannabis, having it's gonna go federally legal, and that's gonna be really popular, and then it's gonna go back down, and then I think what's gonna happen is kind of like the beer industry. We're gonna have these national players come into play, and that's gonna happen for a little bit, like how Budweiser and Miller and Coors and all these big beer brands were super hyped between the 80s and 90s, and now from the 2000s on, it's been all about the craft beers, like the small time guys, and that's kind of where I see cannabis going. Like, it's gonna go super mainstream, and you're gonna have these, you're gonna have the Budweiser weed.
OG farmers who
really, you think so?
Oh, it's and it's not even be Budweiser. It's be like guys like Miracle Grow and Marlboro, and got like huge fertilizer companies trying to say, yeah, weed's great because we can sell it. Because at a point you're gonna sell them like cigarettes. They're gonna be in gas stations. They're gonna be in Targets and Walmarts, and you can go to Costco and buy it in bulk. So
and that's when they're gonna come seeking a creative agency, a creative agent.
Hopefully, yeah, dude. Hopefully, I'll become the the Don Draper of some cannabis company.
Well, you're in the right industry right now.
Let's hope.
You're in the industry before it really booms.
Yeah. And that's cool because I get to pioneer it, I get to learn it.
Right.
I get to see where it goes, and so so once it does go federally legal, that's going to be very interesting, and that could happen tomorrow. That could happen in 10 years. Who knows?
Well, one of the last questions that we had. Do you want to ask it, or you want me to go?
No,
ahead?
you can.
Okay. If it wasn't for the cannabis industry, do you think you could do creative marketing in any other industry, or is it just you're super passionate about just doing cannabis industry?
No, I think I could do it, and I could do marketing in almost any industry. I think I'm pretty creative. That's just not to my own home, but I think like if you and me sat down and you said, hey, I have this company, can you spit me 5 ideas? Within 10 minutes, I could have 5 semi-good ideas for you.
So we have a podcast.
And so, but I think it was just kind of fate that I built a company called Reno as Fuck, where the same advertising rules are the same as the industry I'm currently in.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like
it jump started you for sure.
a foreshadowing of what I was supposed to be doing before I even knew it.
Okay.
So I just think it's it's a path that I'm on, and it was meant to be.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Actually, before we even end this podcast, I know we're hitting like the hour 30 mark right now.
Are we at hour 30 right now?
Yeah.
Damn, we've been talking for a minute. I didn't
even notice until I looked at the clock and I was like, what? Do you want to do a giveaway for the t-shirt? Or do you want to wait?
We can do it. We can do it, or we can do a separate thing. But
no, let's do it.
I think we should do it right now.
All right.
It's very off the cuff.
How do you want to do it? We didn't even talk about this, so this is off the cuff.
This is off the cuff, 100%. I was originally going to introduce the wheel that we got and ask people if they want to leave suggestions on things that we should put on the wheel.
Let's do it. Go get it.
Yeah?
I'll get it.
Okay.
All right. So just keep
leave
talking.
the camera on me. Okay, so for everybody who's out there looking at the podcast on YouTube and I guess YouTube is the only place you can really look at it. Listening to the podcast, we have bought a wheel, a spinning wheel of fortune. Wheel of fortune, right?
I saw that.
Okay, so just so you guys can hear it, I'm gonna spin it so you guys can hear it. If you're listening to the audio only. Hey,
I love that noise.
And we're looking to basically introduce this wheel into the podcast and make it a little bit more interactive, a little bit more engaging and fun. And we want suggestions. We want you guys to leave a comment down below and tell us, what should we put on the wheel? It could be like, eat a jalapeno. It could be you got to do the next 20 minutes of the podcast in your Sean Connery impersonation voice.
Or every sentence you say, you have to say like, ooh, daddy, after you're done talking.
Or you got to say daddy, please daddy after every sentence. You know,
something like that. Make it funny, make it innocent. Like we won't be doing weird shit, but maybe we will. Maybe we'll have bugs. Maybe we'll have stuff.
You should make the guest do it.
Oh no. So basically, what the other thing is, we're gonna have like if anybody knows what Silent Library is,
yes,
you get these cards, right?
I forgot
and
about
then you
Silent
have
Library.
to flip these cards that either have like, we're gonna do thumbs up and a skull. So we're gonna have 20 random cards flipped over, shuffled, and when we spin the wheel of misfortune and it lands on something, you're going to grab one of the cards and then we're all going to flip it over at the same time. And of course, whoever gets the skulls has to do that. So if we all get thumbs up, we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
We all get skulls. So it kind of makes it even more. So it's just not like, oh, we spin it and we all have to do it. It's just like, okay, you get one more chance to see what's going to happen. And it'll make it a little bit more exciting.
That's hella cool.
So there you go, guys. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you want to see on the Wheel of Misfortune. And we might put it on there. And also, I think it's time we just do a giveaway, man. We've been promoting a giveaway for a while now, and we have not given away a t-shirt. So go ahead, drop a comment down on the video with your suggestion, and we'll give away one t-shirt in your size, have it shipped out to you, and ready to wear by next week, I think.
Yeah. White only, though.
Yeah, we only got white t-shirts. But if you guys haven't seen the t-shirt, you know what? With the magic of editing, I'm going to go ahead and just go.
Yeah, Keem has one.
That's a good snap.
There we go. That's a good snap. I don't know if you could hear it, but yeah.
I heard it.
Leave a comment down below, and we'll use a comment generator to go ahead and pick the winner for next week.
And thank you so much, Tony, for dealing with that, man.
I've been begging you guys to get on the show for a while now, so
we meant to have you on a lot sooner, but
four months ago. Sorry about
before we moved out. But now you got to do the podcast in the new studio, man.
Thank you so much.
It sounds crispy fresh. Thank you so much for being on.
Appreciate you guys.
We're gonna go ahead and put all your information down below in the description. But do you want to just kind of let people know where they can find you real quick?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Fulltime Tony. You can find me on Facebook as Anthony M. Lee. On Twitter, unfortunately, I'm Fulltime Anthony because someone has Fulltime Tony already. And Reno as fuck. Reno Canna Expo, Budtender Fight Club Reno. Yeah, I'm all over the place. Find me on Fulltime Tony. You can find the rest of my stuff. Peace.
There we go. And you guys heard it here first. Until next time, we'll catch you guys on the next morning dinner.
Later, y'all.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.